introducing Wave. It's jungle. अब ऑफलाइन है पर प्लेलिस्ट तो 100% डाउनलोड है। आज ही अपना स्टूडेंट आईडी शेयर कर सब्सक्राइब करें प्रीमियम स्टूडेंट को फॉरमाइज वर्ड.As में get daily individual plan पर 15% discount साथ ही नए सब्सक्राइबर के लिए 1 month trial भी download the plan to know more premium student only price per month after open only to students at accredited higher education institutions who have already tried premium terms and conditions apply.
The Soundtrap Capture app is the easiest way for musical ideas and collaborating in real time. Catch that top line idea whenever it strikes you. Add an instrument. Invite your friend to let her add some low end. And finally, import the sketch to Soundtrap. Capture sounds in the moment. With Soundtrap Capture app, you can sketch a song, record, and collaborate whenever inspiration
Hmm? That's gonna slow down.
Hello, good evening. Am I audible?
Yes, good
Yeah,
evening.
yeah, audible.
Okay. Just a second, we will begin now. And I hope the screen is also visible, right?
Yeah, right.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So I would like to first know, is there any perfect parents here? Is there any perfect parents here? Yes or no? You can mention in the chat box. Okay, Ismail said no.
There is nothing like a perfect.
There's nothing like a perfect parent. Chitra, Suvarna, Ceylon, yes. So this session is for imperfect parents, just like me. We are all imperfect parents, and this session is for us. Since we are all imperfect parents, we need to hear about the emotional health of children so that we don't hinder the emotional health of children. Because at times, our words and actions can go beyond a certain level such that it affects the child negatively, even though we don't intend to. So let's start this session. And be active all throughout because the entire energy of the session depends on your energy. Okay, so are you familiar with these two terms? If yes, you can mention in the chat box.
Yes, ma'am.
Have you all heard? Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Hanna, Isna, Subarna, Musli. Okay, fine. We are all familiar with that. And what about this? Emotional abuse. Yes. Okay. What is it? Any one word or one sentence that reminds you when you hear emotional abuse? What is emotional abuse?
First, we say something to the children or somebody that is not acceptable to them, that makes hurt. That is emotional abuse.
Yes, that hurts them. Okay. Who is this? It would be good if you can mention your name also.
Yeah, Sumaya.
Sorry? Sumaya.
Yes.
Okay, nice. Emotional blackmailing. We can see in the chat box you are fat, criticism, insult in front of others, harsh and unwanted words, statements like that. Yes. Okay. So there are 4 types of maltreatment. Maltreatment, what is maltreatment? Maltreatment means it's not the right way to treat someone. That is maltreatment. So there are 4 types of maltreatment. That's what you see now. Okay. We know that there is physical abuse, sexual abuse, neglect, and also there is emotional abuse. And from this list, actually, emotional abuse is the one that is quite hard to describe. And because it's hard to describe, we can say that it is difficult to report it. It's difficult to ask for help when someone is going through an emotional abuse. And also, it is something that we cannot give help without asking also. So there's a slight complexity around this emotional health. And we all deal with children. So we need to know that how we can say that an act is emotionally abusive or not. An act is said to be emotionally abusive if it affects the child in at least 4 of the areas. Those are the areas that you see on the screen. I can see 2 people have turned on the camera. So nice to, see someone in front while taking. Thank you. Okay. So coming back, these are the 4 areas. If the child is getting affected in any of these 4 areas, we can say that the child is going through an emotional abuse. If it is psychologically damaging to either the behavioral aspect of the child, the cognitive aspect, that is thinking, reasoning, remembering, if it affects the mood, feeling, or attitude of the child, or the physical functioning of the child. If these things are being affected, if these factors are affected, then it is said to be an emotional abuse. Even though we don't want to push our children into a stressful period, it happens from us at times. It happens through our gestures, through our tone, or through the manner we exhibit. And when it is highly intensive and also very frequently, plus if we have a poor relationship with the child, then it conveys a negative message to them. What is the negative message that we are conveying? We are conveying that the child feels that the child is not loved, the child is not wanted, the child is not appreciated. And when we parents or the immediate caretakers of the child are not psychologically available to them, we'll be there at home full time, but we are not emotionally available to them when they need it. Or if we exhibit a kind of unfriendly attitude, rejecting, if we are low on warmth, do you know there's a warmth that with which we deal with children, no? If that warmth is on the low side, or if we are high on criticism, these are the parental activities that are identified as emotional abuse and neglect. And it's not always, cruel parenting or cruel parents who exhibit this. Mostly all parents do or say thoughtless things and inappropriate things at times. Okay. But when it comes to when it is, persistent, when the such negative attitudes are persistent or continuous in pattern, then it becomes an abuse. It happens mostly towards. Good morning. It will be good if you can mute your mic. Yeah, and it normally happens more with a child in the family who is more vulnerable. And over the years, what happens is this child internalizes what he or she is tagged with or what he or she is hearing continuously. It gives them a feeling that, okay, I'm to be blamed for everything. I'm the one who's causing all the mishaps that are
Yeah.
happening here.
Okay.
And there's a poem that portrays an emotionally confused and hurting child.
Shut up.
So it goes like this. Shruti, can you please mute the people who are unmuted?
Yeah, Maria, I'm done.
And the poem goes like this. Be careful, okay? My mother does not love me. I feel bad. I feel bad because she does not love me. I am bad because I feel bad. I am bad because she does not love me. She doesn't love me because I am bad. See how the thought process is going. Initially, it was like, I'm feeling bad because she doesn't love me. And at the end, the child is believing that she's not loving me because I am bad. That is the thought process that has been happening. And we handle our children. And also there are a lot of other people who are handling our children. So we need to clearly know what a maltreatment is, what is not a right kind of treatment, so that we can step up when the child needs help. And also we can see that we are not doing that. Okay, do you want to help your child? I can see yes in the faces.
Yes.
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 Okay. Okay. So we are going to help. We are going to learn more to help our child. Psychological maltreatment, as we discussed, is repeated behavior. Okay, something is repeating over and over, over and over. It is not just once in a blue moon that happens, but it is a repetitive behavior that comes from the primary caretaker of the child. And it can include extreme incidents that convey to the child that the child is worthless, flawed, unloved, unwanted, or there is a threatening that is happening there, or it is conveying to the child that you exist only to serve others. These are the kind of signals that the child gets. And there are a few elements that can that can occur in this case of emotional abuse or maltreatment. And the first among that is burning. Be very careful. Okay, I'll be dealing 5-6 aspects where all these aspects fall in emotional abuse of the child. So the first category is spurning. That is conveying to the child that the child is not important, or shaming them, or rejecting them. It can happen when we verbally communicate these, or it can happen non-verbally as well. Shaming verbally includes the sentences that we tell them, like, can you just go from here? Or non-verbally, it can be just slamming the door against the child. So such attitudes, these all come under shaming or spurning. And the second category is terrorizing. That is placing the children in danger, threatening them, or threatening someone else the child loves the most. That also comes in this. Or generally creating an atmosphere of fear at home, destroying the child's favorite toy, disturbing his favorite animal, etc. And threatening the child that threatening the child about someone who is very close to the child, like telling the child that I'll slap your mom, or asking the child to leave the home. There's an element of threat in all this. I'm not going to give you food, you are going to starve. All these are terrorizing. And the third category is isolating. Are my words breaking?
No.
No.
You are clear.
Perfect.
No.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Now, third one is isolating. That is creating a severe restrictions on the child, like preventing all sorts of social interaction and separating the child from the rest of the family or from you yourself. You leave home and telling that I'm not going to come for the next 2 days, or I'm not going to come again. Or the child is taken to the grandparent forcefully, just for the sake of, separating, or asking others not to talk to the child. These all come in isolating. And next is exploiting or corrupting the child. That is encouraging the children to develop inappropriate or antisocial behaviors, like behaviors or values like stealing, asking the child to abuse others, prompting the child to to get into other houses, break into other houses, or prompting the child to hurt older people or younger people, encouraging or teaching them to be all sort of this corruptions that we teach them. If we are doing that, that also comes under one of the categories. And the next is denying emotional responsiveness. That is being emotionally available to the child, ignoring the child, emotionally unavailable to the child, ignoring the child. When the child is crying, we pretend not to see the child. That means we are ignoring. Failing to express our love and affection to the child, we are ignoring. And in short, it is the sort of becoming physically as well as emotionally distant from the child. We don't show that warmth that is normally there in a mom or father-child relationship or parent-child relationship if you're not exhibiting that, or you're not considering your child's emotions. And the sixth and the last one is the mental health, medical, and educational neglect. That is, failing to provide and attend to the psychological needs, medical needs, and educational development of the child, age-appropriate ones. So not giving age-appropriate education, neglecting the child if the child is having any physical difficulties, these all fall in this category. So these are the 6 categories that come under maltreatment. Just take a moment to think whether there is anything that is coming from our mouth or from our actions or just the gestures that come from us, whether any of that comes in these categories. Are we moving to, for some people it will be like, it will be a habit to shame the child. And for some others, it will be a habit to threaten the child. So there can be one of the categories which can be quite alarming to us. So just take a moment to think about that and we'll move ahead. If you're done, you can put done in the chat box. Okay, Selin, Shapna, Khadija, Shamal Kareem. Okay. So what happens, Nifia? Okay. So what happens when the kids are emotionally abused? What's happening to them? That's what we are going to explore next. Children who are being emotionally abused, they find it difficult to keep trying to bring about some progress in their life. They turn helpless very fast because they believe that they have no control over the things that are happening. And if this kind of attitude is established, it's very difficult to reverse also, unless something purposefully is done to help the child. Emotionally abused children, as they turn adults, they'll be unable to form a good relationship with others and will have difficulty in managing their own aggression, and it can give rise to depression as well later in their life. So instead, what a child needs from us is close, confident, and warm physical as well as emotional contact with the mother, with the father, and other caretakers around, so that they can grow and develop healthily and happily. The absence of such, continuous nurturing and physical and as well as emotional closeness from us, it can bring about anxiety and confusion in the children. Now we are going to take the case of this boy, Chris. What comes to your mind when you see him? Is there anything about his character? We'll get into his story shortly. Yes, he's seeming angry.
Short-tempered, I think he's getting rude.
Okay, he's getting rude, short-tempered, arrogant, yes, tantrum, spoiled, angry, disturbed. Yes. Okay. So we'll get into his story. Chris, sorry. Chris has got a younger sister recently, but his behavior changed quite a lot after he got a sister. He became very disruptive and demanding. As his behavior worsened, the parents became more rejective, hostile, and uncompromising. There were many situations when they were embarrassed in front of others. They felt, they became more and more strict and thought like Chris is embarrassing us and he is not at all fitting in to our sister. We have to be more strict and stern with him. That is what his behavior is deserving. That's the mentality of the parents, and they become more and more strict. Okay, but there is something. This is clear, right? Chris is demanding, Chris is disruptive, and the parents are becoming more strict to control him. Now, there is something that initiated all this. We'll get into that, and that is what I want you all to always keep your ears and eyes open. Whatever the child is showing, there is something that has initiated such kind of behaviors. What happened actually in Chris' case? Parents became preoccupied with the new baby and became more distant from Chris. Chris was neglected. Chris seemed nowhere in the priority list of anyone around. This caused deep emotional wounds in him. Then what happened? Then he became disruptive and demanding for attention seeking. And then the parents became more and more strict. Do you think this strictness will solve the issue? Yes or no?
No.
No.
What about others? Suvarna,
No.
Meili, yes. Everyone, all are united in that opinion, right? Fatima, Khadija, Muhammad, Hannah. Okay. This is not going to solve the issue because this cycle is going to repeat. He is going to be more and more demanding. He'll show more and more sort of attention-seeking behaviors. Parents have to adopt even stricter methods. And in the end, all their weapons are going to be down. Nothing will be able to control Chris at a point. We are all familiar with this, I guess. At least in families around, you'll be able to see. In some of the families around, you'll be able to see such people or children who have reached this stage when no weapon works. I'll tell you how a rejected child is initially, if you keep rejecting your child, initially they'll be more clingy, more dependent, and more possessive. They'll keep on seeking approval, more attention. They'll show all sort of things to gain attention of the parents. And we all, have this basic need of positive response, of necessity of, positive response from others around. So if a child's immediate caregivers are rejecting the child, and if his needs for that warmth and affection are not fulfilled, the child will, up to a point, keep increasing their efforts to get that attention, to get that love. And he will be dependent, too much dependent on the parent. And the way that he is trying to get attention or get love is not by, thinking like older people and strategically moving. It's not like that. They'll be expressing it through cries, through tantrums, to clingy behavior, all sort of things that are irritating to us. That is how they are. They don't know how else to express it. But after a point, what happens is this dependency, it seemed to end. As you see on the graph, initially it's increasing like this, and then it's not there. Dependency is not there. This seriously rejected child, he has not learned how to give love because he has not known how to. He has not seen a loving parent from whom, he can copy that or he can experience that. And even though he may crave for attention, after a point, he'll have difficulty in accepting it also. In accepting if the parent or if anyone else is offering love to him. And in order to protect himself from the emotional hurt that he has been going through all the time, he tends to isolate his emotions. And ultimately, he stops trying to get affection, even though he craves it. So initially, he exhibits high dependency for quite a long time, and then he quits it. So an emotionally rejected child, they turn isolated, is unable to form warm relationships, lasting relationships with others. That's quite natural. Their attachment is said to be very troubled. And also, as a result of the psychological damage brought about by rejection, maltreatment, the child will have less tolerance to stress. Such children, they adopt very angry behaviors with their parents, with others, as well as they'll be always fearful about rejection because of the rejection that they have been going through. And they evolve a kind of dependence that is called defensive independence. As I said, initially they'll be highly dependent and then they turn independent. That is a sort of defensive mechanism, not to get rejected again. That kind of feeling. And also there will be emotional withdrawal. Behind a child's defensive independence or emotional detachment, there is unrecognized longing to establish that warmth, nurture a relationship with the parents or with others around. That love they'll be seeking in their heart, but they won't be able to exhibit that. The child turns more aggressive because of this unmet emotional support, and that is what he's observing also from the parents. He may also develop disturbance of eating, sleeping, toilet training, and will also have difficulty in socializing. And they reach adolescence as extremely disturbed young people. They end up with uncontrollable behaviors. He felt let down, abandoned by the parents, by the grandparents. At a point when he needed help and support and attention, he didn't get it. And they develop a sense of helplessness, hopelessness, depression. They feel that they are useless, unworthy of love. And there is a constant fear, anxiety, guilt in them. And they find it difficult to make even the smallest of decisions. They'll be always wavering. They can be successful in their professional life, but may remain ineffective in their role as a parent or as a partner, as he was made to believe by his parents that he was useless. And the model of family life that he experienced is also not something that is preparing him to be a good partner or a good parent. Now, why is it that some parents find it very difficult to establish an emotional bond with their children? Several researches have been done with several families to find out this reason as well. And the most consistent finding on child maltreatment are that parents who abuse were often being abused in their childhood. They brought that same style of parenting into theirs. Whatever they were exposed to, that's what they reflect. And that is to be cold, to be distant, lacking sensitivity. But we also see that there are many parents who gather the willpower not to pass that negative experiences they experienced into their next generation. And so that is possible. Only thing is we need to step up and take that step. So depending on the quality of bonding or connection that we establish with our children, as our children grow, they get attached to us, but in different levels or different types, depending on what we have given them. And let's see what all types of attachments are there. You can also check in which type you and your child is falling in also. The first one is resistant attachment, which is a form of insecure attachment. Insecure means it's not the right form of attachment. The child is always, here the child is not sure whether the parent is a dependable parent or not. Sometimes the parent responds positively or is caring, but sometimes not. That is, there is a sort of unpredictable attitude from the parent side. Sometimes it's all perfect. They are there for their needs. And on other occasions, say when the parent is not in a good mood, they behave just the opposite. So they are rejecting when the child is asking for any minute help. Here, mostly the child grows into a very demanding and needy child, because child is not sure if the parent will come for help or if the parent is going to listen to me or give me attention. And so the child starts to show tantrum to get this attention. And this happens in case where children are treated, children are threatened a lot, like threatenings that the parent will go away from the child. All these, sort of threatenings may be done to control the child, but it has a negative effect on the child. Also, the child will be anxious about exploring the world. That is, the child will be too clingy to the parent. They will not be comfortable moving away from the parent because of this threatening and all. And the child will be dependent. Second category is avoidant attachment, which is also not a desirable one. It's also an insecure attachment. Here, what happens is the parent is constantly rejecting the child when the child approaches for care or help. That's a rejection that we talked about some time back. And the child expects to be rejected. After a time, the child knows that, okay, I'm going to be rejected. I'm not going to be supported. These children, they try to live without expecting the love and support of others. That's what we have already seen now. Initially, they'll be dependent, but then they turn out to be not caring anything. Okay, that's an inappropriate kind of self-sufficiency that is developed. The majority of, more emotionally severely abused children will fall in this category. And the third one is a secure attachment. Here, the children are confident that the caregivers will be available to them. They are responsive and they'll help. They are helpful if there is a frightening situation. And that's because the parents are readily available to the child, sensitive to the child's feelings, sensitive to their emotions, and also because they are responding well to the child if the child needs help or protection. They comfort the child. And there is a kind of safety and security that the child feels in this relationship. This security, that is the one that is building confidence in the child. It encourages, exploration, as in the child feels okay to go beyond and explore things. They won't be clingy because they are confident to go. They feel that they themselves, as well as others, are worthy of love as well as respect. And all this is a result of no stress that the parent is giving them while taking care of them. This is the third type of attachment which we need to try to establish with our children. So altogether, what we understand is that the way we treat our children is going to make a big difference in them. It's going to shape their entire confidence level and also how they view the entire world around. How much ever we attend to their, physical health and their education, but if we are neglecting their emotions, then we are not raising a healthy child. We are, in fact, breaking them. Let's take up this role of molding emotionally healthy children very seriously and just see what is the inner voice that we are giving them. Is it that they are they are lovable, or is it that they are not important to us? I want you to note down this. Over a week, every day, what is the kind of tone that we are passing to them? Is it positive or negative? Can you note it down? Who's ready to note it down? I want to see the chat box. What is the general tone that we are giving them? Is it that, okay, I'm there for you, I'm attending to you? Is it negative? Okay, that doesn't matter. But from here on, I expect a change in all of us. And I want you to note down over a week. Are you ready to just note down? I'm ready. Okay, Nasira. Sometimes positive, sometimes negative. Okay. And you know what noting down will help us? Otherwise, it will be like, okay, each day is passing and we are not knowing what is happening. But when we take an effort, just a maximum of 2 minutes or 3 minutes to just think of the day and how it went, then it's going to make a difference because over a period, we have a record, what we assessed us, how we assessed us. Okay. Am I there for you? Yeah, Suparna, Shafna. Okay, you're all ready. So be ready. Let's note that for the week, okay? So let's give preference to their emotions. Just a second, those who are watching in YouTube, please see that you subscribe to the channel so that you get the other updates as well. Okay, so give preference to the child's emotions and have time for them. You can see on the screen, it can reflect many of us when we are working. So have time for them and altogether aim to educate them how to handle their emotions without, rejecting them or without denying them. That is what we need to do. We know that it's not easy, but with trial, we'll be able to. And I would also like to tell you the support that we are extending to the parents. The 3-month workshop that we offer, Parenting Without Frustration, it will help parents handle difficult situations that arise and also teach you how exactly to deal with them, keeping this right balance in mind. That is, not over pampering as well as not rejecting, that kind of a balance. If you're struggling with this, do consider this Parenting Without Frustration 3-month program in which in which we'll be aiming at providing a transformation. We train through live sessions, video lessons, and also there'll be WhatsApp group support in this 3-month program. We do have a team to guide you, and every week there'll be small things that are allotted to you to learn and also to implement. And Altogether, we'll be aiming at a transformation in the way that you think as a parent, in the way you speak to your child, transformation in your tone, in your gesture, so that you are able to lead a successful family and also raise emotionally healthy children. So you'll see at the end, hopefully you'll see decreased tantrum in children, you'll see your emotional state is improved and overall improvement in the home atmosphere, because we train you to get out of the habit of giving punishments to the children and train you to deal it the right way. Okay, sometimes there is excessive parental pressure on the child to achieve what we want them to, what we parents want them to, without even considering the child's talents or even likes or dislikes. These words are the words of a novelist. And he has written this in a letter to his father. What I would have needed was a little encouragement, a little friendliness, a little keeping open of my door, instead of which you blocked it for me, though, of course, with the good intention of making me go another road, but I was not fit for that. Let's see that the road ahead is something that we can guide our children rightly, and we both can, both the child as well as the parent is enjoying that journey rather than being overpowering. One shouldn't be, whether the child or the parent, one shouldn't be overpowering at any point. So it should be a healthy relation that we exhibit. So yes, Shruti, I hope you will post our social media links. Do follow us in all the social media. Plus, do join the WhatsApp group. Shruti, please post that link as well. And if you're interested in joining and getting hand-holding from our team on Parenting Without Frustration, 3-month workshop, do message Shruti. Her number will also be passed in the chat box now. So thank you all for joining.
Yeah,
Is there
I'm
any
having
doubt?
one doubt, Mariam. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah, who is this?
so yeah, I'm Chitra. Okay.
Okay, Chitra.
Okay, yeah. So if a child is facing emotional abuse from a friends or teacher or someone else rather than our parents, what we will do? Is it affect our child mental health, or how we can handle it?
Yes. A child going through an emotional abuse from someone else. Oh, just a second. I'm sorry. Chargeless. Okay, so the child going emotional abuse from someone else and the child going through emotional abuse from the parent, it's if we think itself, we know that it's entirely two different cases. I mean, the impact is more when it is from the parent. But when it is from others and when we can emotionally support the child, then it lessens the situation. And also at times, every one of us will be going through such negative statements or negative attitudes from everyone around. But if you can guide your child in that area, and that will be good, because he'll also be getting an guidance on how to stand up for himself and how to handle these as well. So when you or your husband is there to support him, I feel like you'll be able to help him better.
Okay, thank you.
Any other doubt? Hi.
Hi, Mariam.
Yeah. Who is this?
This is Shabna. First of
Shabna,
all, thank
okay.
you so much for your session. This is very helpful. So I've been attending the second session of Crane, and have been followed through LinkedIn as well. So thank you so much for that.
Okay, so happy to hear that.
Yeah. So my question would be, like, I have a 2-year-old little girl. So I mean, while at home, her father is like someone who pampers her too much. And while back at, in grandma's mom, I mean, both her grandparents, mine and her husband's, they also pamper her too much. So I am the one who kind of like, who's really strict to her. I mean, my husband says it's like a military rule. But unfortunately, because there are so many people around her who pampers her too much, I need to be like someone who takes that role. But when you said these things, I kind of feel like that I'm someone who kind of like emotionally blackmails her at times, maybe unfortunately. But then how do you think that I can cope up with such situation? That I do not want to be someone like who she looks at with like fear, but then I'm doing it for like for her own good. But then that sometimes like maybe hit me back, I think, like
Yes.
when you talked about these emotional things. So how
Yeah.
do you think that I can manage this?
Yeah, Shapna. I'm
Actually, the
really.
same scenario, I just wanted to tell.
Who is
The
this?
same scenario, me, Fatima Hasina.
Right.
How are you, Maria?
Yeah, good. What about you?
Yeah, good. Alhamdulillah.
Yes.
Actually, the same
Carry on.
scenario happening when dealing with the academics also. Because most of the home, the mothers are the one who is dealing with the academics. So sometimes they wanted to push them to sit and study. So when the father is coming, they are just like angels because they so while the kids they're frustrating with the mother because mother she wanted to teach them, because of that they are getting frustrated from the mother itself. So when the father is coming, hi, I love you, yeah, my sweeties, and then just like the direction is changed. So
Yeah.
the most of the kids they're feeling mother is the one who always telling, frustrating us. The father is a good man.
Okay. So I'll first did both are similar sort of things. But first to Shapnam, I'm so happy that this session was able to give a sort of thought to what we are doing and what we are saying and all. Actually, the realization that you got is right. That extreme as well as this extreme both have its own negatives. It's not like, okay, over pampering is bad, but being strict is good. And it's not the opposite also. Being strict is bad, we need to pamper. So there is a slight balance in between, and it's very hard. Like, at times we may fall here and we may fall there. But overall, what we have to focus is majority of the time, say, from the 12 months, for 10 to 11 months, I mean, not in a stretch, but I hope you're getting. For 10 to 11 months, if we are that parent who can walk in that mid path, then we have succeeded. But at times, our situations can go down, like work pressure, pressure from others, our own self, other issues that are happening. These can actually force us to one of the extremes. But still, what we need to focus on is not being over strict, and coming to Hasina as well, whether it be teaching. And I would say like teaching is one of the most important things that you need to do very beautifully with the children, because it is for a lifetime, right? They need to be lifetime learners. They should always be curious, just like when they are say 1 year, 2 year old, they're very curious to learn things and curious to observe things. If we are able to keep up that curiosity all throughout, that is a success that we are having. And this balance is what we are trying to teach. How to implement that balance is what we are trying to teach in this parenting without frustration. And that will be a continuous support process. And if you need any help, do consider that.
Hello, ma'am.
Yes. Who is this?
This is Rabia, and
Yeah.
I'm a new one to attending this session. I have a doubt that my son, what you have told in this session, it's
Mhm.
already happened to me. I haven't raised my child with the emotional support. So how can I, get prepared to it? How can I go back and make him healthy emotionally, child?
Okay. We're so happy. Yes. First point, what is needed is what you have done now. Just having a thought that, okay, how can I be different and how can I not pass this to the child?
Actually, whatever you told in the session, that the child they need attention, everything, because I have 3 childs and the younger one is almost 12 years old now. He is very frustrated and he is very arrogant from beginning. Also, I have back to back 2 childs with me, so that I just given attention to the second child till he is in 3 years old, because he is very younger to him, so I had to give attention more to him. So he has been unnoticedly neglected by me, and he has grown very aggressively. I don't know how to recall if I want to connect with him emotionally well, but I can't do it because he was always irritating me when I wanted to do also, but he won't give me the platform. Actually, he needed my attention, but he was like so irritating. How to get repaired? No, I want really to get over from these situations.
Yes. See, he's 12 years old, right?
Yes.
So yes,
Yes.
so getting back is going to be a little tough process, but I'll guarantee you it's not an impossible one. Okay, it will take time, but even small efforts from your side will count. So
Okay.
taking a step will definitely be beneficial for you as well as the child. And this aggression is actually a accumulation of what he has been going through all this period, right? So it will take some time to rewind these 12 years and 12 negativity that has been passed all throughout, but we can definitely help you in that. Since this is a more personal one, I would like you to message Shruti in this number that is there in the chat box so that we can directly deal with your situation.
So it's not too late. I can manage it.
See, the early, the better.
Okay.
Anything else?
I'm
Shall
having
we
a
wind up?
Mariam. Yeah.
Yeah, who is
Okay.
this?
Again, Chitra. Okay.
Okay, Chitra.
Okay. So actually, I was following thing from I think when my baby is 1.5 years old. So I
Okay.
won't do such a type of like a harsh teasing or avoiding everything. So what I'm feeling is like I don't know whether it is a confusion or not. When she's hearing bad things or like some teasing from outside, she's getting very sensitive. So is that our problem, or is it because of she's too small? She's 2.5 years now.
Okay. See, Chitra, since she is only 2.5, it can be either way. Like in the basic construction itself, some of us are very sensitive and some of us are not. Or it can be because she's small. Either way, what you can do is to show your emotional support and show that try to keep that confidence. Chitra, you can discuss with your mentor regarding the same and get direct help in that. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Sure. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Aisha, and I have a daughter. She's 2.5 years. So till she was 2, we were in our hometown, and she was all pampered by her grandparents, and everyone's there. So she was like a well-behaved child. But then suddenly we moved out with like to my husband's place, and then like when place changed, like the behavior also changed. So I was also handling alone, like the home and child. So it was kind of difficult to handle everything together. But then I always make sure that I always give her the attention that she deserves. And most of the time, I never shouts at her nor like scolds her for the mistakes that she does. But frequently, like she's becoming so she is a well behaved child, but at times she starts beating up people like for no reasons. Like she might be playing with the other kids around the flat, or maybe with us also. But if we say something that she doesn't like, maybe please don't do that, please don't do it, it's really bad, don't do that, like we'll be saying it in a good tone, but she reacts it in a the extremely opposite manner. So I become a little bit confused and worried as of how to handle, because it's okay if she is behaving that way with us, because we can make her like if we make a sad face, she feels sorry and she says sorry. But when she does that with the other kids around, it becomes very awkward for us also, like we
Yes,
become
yes,
embarrassed.
definitely. Yeah,
So I
definitely,
don't know
Aisha.
how to handle with that, and so what can I do for her?
Yeah. See, our children, they can get this when they are angry. The first thing that can occur to them is to show it in these ways, like hitting the other person also. From there, it is a training that we need to give them that when we are angry, it is all about mentioning why we are angry or what is the reason. Like, we may not know what is going through the child, what the other person has done. So it is training the child to express their feelings through words and not through actions. That is one of the trainings that we have to give them. And since the child is small, it is a very good moldable time where you can, when the child is going through the emotion, what you need to take care is, don't ever say at that moment, or don't ever criticize the child at that moment. Okay. It's always good to take the child and leave from there. That's something that you can do at that time. At the same time, just hug the child and give them confidence that you are there with them. But communicate to the child that you are not supporting that action. See, it is two different things. If you have attended any of the previous sessions, you'll know that what we need to do in such moments is that the child's feeling or the child's feeling of anger, whether it be anger or sadness, what is going through the child, the emotion, we need to acknowledge that. Okay, Mama understands that you are angry because of this, or why, what happened? Mama understands that you are sad. So that support we need to give. At the same time, we need to guide them that, but when we are angry, we are not supposed to do like this. Next time you are angry, you say that to Mama. You tell why you are angry, and I'll try to solve that. That is a sort of training, and this is a good age, Aisha, 2.5, to train this child. And also, since you mentioned about grandparents, I would like to tell that also. See, when we also turn grandparents, I feel like we'll also be in one of the extremes. Normally,
Like
what we
their
say,
point of view is like, this is if we prevent the child from doing something, like maybe what can I say, they are like, don't never stop the child, because they have that kind of thinking, like if we should stop a child, or if we make them, like if we never let them do something, I'm not getting an instance, for example, to say.
I got it. Normally, that's what we see. Grandparents either fall in these two extreme categories. Either they are over pampering and allow everything, or they are over strict and won't even allow the child to be a child. So these are the two kinds of categories they fall into. And when we also turn old, we may also be like that. So that is a kind of, that transformation that happens. They are not the way when they were, raising their child. They go to these two extremes. So it is a struggle to, balance everything and keep going.
Yeah. Jazakallah, it was really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anything else, or shall we wind up? Okay, Sarah Life has mentioned, yes, Sarah, just a message in the number. Yes, so this message is there. Yes, it is there in the inbox. Diana, okay. Sorry, okay, what is the critical age for the child to get secure attachments? If he is not getting secure attachment in his childhood, can it be fulfilled in later? See, in later ages, it's very difficult for a person to change. Now, for example, you'll see that, including yourself, we'll all be in one of these categories. Like, some people will be okay with trusting others, while others are not okay with trusting others. Some people will be very confident to deal with their own things, while others are like, okay, whatever I do, it's not going to be right. So these are the kind of patterns that are developed because of the inner voice that they got all throughout this childhood. So there can be someone, who at a point interferes and takes them back to a new, fresh life. It can happen. But that reversal process is going to be very tough as age increases. Okay, so it was a nice evening with you all. A very interactive session. Okay, so Maya, how to stop showing mobile phones to children? That is an entirely different topic. We do have a workshop coming up on balancing screen time as well. You can message Shruti for the same. Shruti's number is there in the chat box. If you have any concerns and if you would like to join Parenting Without Frustration and take that step to transform your family, do message Shruti and get back to us. And also follow us in all the social media, Instagram, if you're there in Facebook, to follow and also share our content with your fellow parents as well. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Okay, my pleasure, Diana.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Very good session. Alhamdulillah. Jazakumullah khair.
Thank you.